Okay, so, I was looking at the list of scenarios, and I saw this one. It's called the Defensive Lion's Landing, and I honestly don't remember doing this one. But apparently I have, according to, like, achievements and such. But looking at this, I'm like, I legit don't remember doing this one. Maybe I did it on the Horde side, and I just don't remember what it was, how different it actually was on the Alliance side. I don't know.
Hi. How are ya?
Someday we're having a... Oh, my poor griffins! Fight with us.
Off with you.
Let's do this!
You got my attention.
It's possible that I may have done this and I didn't even realize it, because, as usual, when I get queued into a random scenario, sometimes I just follow the players that are in, the other two players that are in it, and they are just zipping through, doing it super fast, that I don't have time to actually take anything in. Because I'm telling you guys, I legit do not remember this.
I need to get closer.
There's Taylor, who this time is wearing a hat.
This land tests us, friend.
They attacked our ships from below and will advance on the keep at any moment. We don't have the numbers to stop them. Fight with us.
The Alliance must prevail.
We'll hold Lion's Landing or die trying.
Adversity.
That's a lot of bombs.
Our constant companion.
I'm amused that there's a number of bilge-water goblins here. Find High Marshal, Twin Braid.
How are you?
Yeah, Bloodhill thinks a few reinforcements are going to be enough to take Lion's Landing. He's got another thing coming. We're here to help.
Be good.
Oh, good timing too! Here comes the assault's commander! Ready up, lads! Oh, you know what it is? I think I got this achievement for doing the Horde equivalent, because I've done the Horde one of this plenty of times. But not the Alliance one. And I think that's why I had the achievement for it. Because otherwise, I was like, I legit don't remember doing this one.
I'm out of range.
My commanding officers are all dead or missing. Get me reports on the SI-7 team. How many Horde are left and how many men we still have. And help Sully set up some defenses. Hold on, since I'm doing this by myself, let me go ahead and buff myself up. There we go. Go ahead and grab this too. Amber.
Aim true.
There's too much smoke in the air to see this very far. I can't make out much of anything on the beach, and sniping's useless. Fight with us. I'll keep you covered. Sully!
I get the right tool for the job.
Nod and Nim were out in the submersible when the Horde attacked. Still, I put all their gear and explosives to good use. We can set up a defensive position at the front. Fight with us, Sully.
You got something to report?
Alright, let's get to work. Mishka.
Hello.
I've done all I can for the wounded here. Twin Braid has all the bodies he'll get. I'm defending the injured unless you have a better plan. Fight with us.
Is anyone in need of medical aid?
Sully, it's time for you to get to work. Alright, I'll do what I can. Boomsticks. Place the boomsticks here. Be ready! They'll charge at any moment now!
I need to get closer.
I'll tell you, times like this, I do miss my tier set in Dragonflight.
It is too far away. I need a target.
I apologize for the constant audio issues, that you guys can hear my keyboard. Believe it or not, this is supposed to be a quiet keyboard, but it probably has lost its quietness over the time that I've been using it. Don't know if it works that way or not, but I probably also just have the settings a little off, I'm guessing. Alright. And that's basically it for this scenario. You do that, and the scenario is done.
Great to meet you. Safe travels.
So yeah, if you do it on one side, it counts for the achievement for both sides, basically. So there are some other scenarios that are specific for the faction, but it will convert you to a race that is fitting of that faction so that you can do that on either side. Like if I did the Dark Heart of Pandaria, it would convert this Night Elf to probably a Horde race, either a Blood Elf or something else that's fitting for that. I've already shown you the variant Tyrande Little Patience one. I showed you the Dagger in the Dark one on the Horde side. Of course, I've already shown you the Theramore one, though honestly I should have done that like this by myself as opposed to when I did it with a group, because then we kind of sped through it. Yeah. So, kind of my bad on that. I haven't shown you some of the other ones here, but the thing is some of them aren't relevant when it comes to the story lore or the lore. They're just kind of there as extra stuff, honestly.
Goodbye.
So, other than that, let's go ahead and kind of wrap this up, I guess we could say. Now, oh, this is definitely a bug. It's doing that thing where it thinks I've only got 3 instead of 4, so anyways. So I'm going to head down here, because this is where we're going to wrap the story up here. So, oh gosh. That's amusing. Yeah, this definitely feels like some kind of bug. But, you know, after we have our thing that goes on with the Kirin Tor, we of course go into the Throne of Thunder, and we eventually take down Lei Shen. Also, shockingly, we find Raden in the bottom. And then we have the events that happen with escalation, including discovering the Dark Heart of Pandaria, the Horde does, which leads, of course, into the Siege of Orgrimmar. And doing the Siege of Orgrimmar, based on your faction, will change some things, such as you're storming the docks of Orgrimmar with the Alliance forces, like Varian and Jaina, as opposed to on the Horde side with Lorthamar and Sylvanas and Bane. Well, actually, no, not Bane, because you meet up with Bane and Vol'jin at the gates of Orgrimmar. But, yeah, basically, like, the first 4 is the same no matter what faction you are, because you're with Lord Walker Cho, and you're fighting through this portion here, trying to get into, like, the mine over there, so you can try and get to defeat the Shaw of Pride, which then you get teleported. And then this is where things kind of change based on your faction, where certain scenes and certain dialogue will be different because of who you are with, because based on your faction as you're going through. Nazgrim will talk to you differently, like he will just see you as another Alliance opponent, which he wants to honorably defeat, as opposed to a fellow member of the Horde. I find the Horde one to make him more sympathetic compared to Nazgrim, which still just makes him look like a loyal soldier to Garrosh, which he is not, especially compared to Malkarok. And then we get to the Garrosh fight, which is basically the same no matter what faction you're on until the end. And at the end, this is where you then get a cutscene which will be different based on your faction, and you'll see why here.
You disappoint me, Garrosh. You are not worthy of your father's legacy.
His punishment is not for you alone to decide.
I won't let you take him.
We have all suffered from his atrocities. My people, more than any other. Let him stand trial in Pandaria. There, we will mete out justice for all.
Look at them. Already they plot against us. Seize this moment, Varian. Dismantle the Horde.
Guardsmen!
Father, what are you doing? What a king must do.
I will speak to your war chief.
I speak for the Horde. Very well. The Horde has committed heinous crimes, Vol'jin. But some among you fought against Garrosh's tyranny. For that, I am willing to end this bloodshed. But know this. If your Horde fails to uphold honor as Garrosh did, we will end you.
So yeah, the Alliance gets a scene where Jaina is telling Varian to dismantle the Horde, which goes to show that she is still in that really bad place emotionally and mentally that she won't get out of until BFA. Whereas the Horde version of that cutscene is Thrall asking Vol'jin, or saying to Vol'jin that you should be the next war chief. If you lead, I will follow. And Vol'jin reluctantly accepts, thinking he's not worthy, but he still will. So, yeah, that's basically the difference. And then you, of course, get the final cutscene here when you turn this quest in with Emperor Shao Hao, which I show on the Horde side. And that's basically it in terms of the difference. The only other thing that's different, and honestly, it's really not that big a deal, honestly, as I've said, is that when you do the questing here in Kun Lai, when you do the questing here, you talk to Taylor instead of Nazgrim, which then leads you to establish this outpost at Western Rest for the Alliance instead of for the Horde, and recruiting Pandorans for the Alliance instead of the Horde. But that's basically it. You're just swapping out the flags and the factions and who's there. But the questing and all that stuff is basically still the same, and that's why there's not much reason to actually show it on camera. So you would still get the same experience doing the questing here, regardless of which faction you're playing. What I've basically shown you is essentially the difference between the factions when it comes to their content in this expansion. It's a good amount, though obviously not nearly as much as what we would get later on. As I have said, the Horde and Alliance had two completely different experiences in BFA. If there's any expansion that had more unique content for a faction, it was BFA, in my opinion. Like, I know there's quite a bit of unique content when it comes to factions on the two main continents, especially in Cataclysm. Northrend had some unique content for both factions, depending on which zones you were. Like, some of the questing in, say, the Grizzly Hills was different based on whether or not you were Alliance or Horde. Same thing for the Borean Tundra and the Howling Fjord, since they both enter different places and therefore have different questing and such. But BFA, I mean, like, you do so much questing here as Horde, so much as Alliance, and then you have a little bit of questing on each one, and then, of course, you've got the war campaign and such. So, but yeah, that's basically it when it comes to the different faction content. I hope you have enjoyed both playthroughs if you've been watching and trying to see the entirety of the story. And I hope that you can see when it comes to the story as in its entirety, that maybe some things were clarified for you, that perhaps if you only saw one side of the story and you didn't see the other side, that maybe now having the entire whole picture helps out in that regard. And if you want to see me do, and I'm just going to double check this real quick to see whether or not I did this, because I should have. If I recall, I should have made videos about the Siege of Orgrimmar on both factions. Just gonna check. Okay, so maybe I actually haven't. Huh. But then again, as I've said, it's really not a major difference. You're just swapping out which NPCs are going to be there for, say, the Galakras fight, and the dialogue with Nazgrim is different, and like I also showed, who you interact with at the end and what they say to you is going to be different after the Garrosh fight, and that's basically the difference. Also, after you defeat the Shaw of Pride, Jaina is the one who talks to you instead of Lorthamar if you're Alliance, and you go through the portal she makes instead of the portal that is made on Lorthamar's side. Like I said, there's not that much of a difference. There's not really much of a reason. But if you would like me to make a separate video, and I could add this to my Soling Raid series, where I go through the Siege of Orgrimmar again, but on the Alliance side instead of the Horde side, by all means, feel more than free to let me know. And, yeah. Other than that, there's really not that much difference. Whether it's Mogushan, there's no difference really in these other raids when it comes to your faction. The only differences will be Siege of Orgrimmar, and that's basically it. So, yeah. That's going to do it for the Alliance content here in Pandaria Remix. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Unless there are any other specific scenarios amongst that list that you actually would like me to show that I didn't already show you, and keep in mind, I've tried to show quite a bit of them in both playthroughs, any ones that were actually relevant and such to the story and such. Although maybe it's because I've been doing them so much because of the dailies to do a scenario, and I gotta go do LFR and dungeons just to do those dailies as well, just so I can get more bronze to finish collecting more stuff. You know, there's still some stuff I can collect. I've collected basically everything I want except for certain raid sets, depending on the difficulty. And then there, of course, there's the Tusks of Manaroth. But let's just say I'm going to have to get into some groups that are going to be farming Garrosh if I want to actually go ahead and buy the Tusks of Manaroth, as well as the heirloom pieces. I should mention that there are the other heirloom pieces, which, again, I don't really feel that much of a massive desire to grab. Since I already have tons of heirlooms. In fact, I've got every other heirloom that you can get if you're curious. Actually, I take that back. I can't show you because heirlooms are not available in Remix, so I literally cannot show you. But, although I can show you the ones that are available in the vendor here in case you are curious. But it's basically one of the only other things left that I could actually pursue other than just the remaining raid sets that I don't have depending on the difficulty. You know, like there are certain ones that are either part of the Raid Finder difficulty or normal apparel, any of those that I could get. But then you look here under this category, and then you see some of these heirloom pieces, along with the Tusk of Manoroth. Now, as I was saying, these are for like I already have an heirloom for each of the different slots that these offer. They just look a little bit more unique because they like a little bit more horde focused and such, and they are cool looking, don't get me wrong. Also, I find it amusing that these ones here have prismatic sockets on them, so I could actually put gems into the sockets of these heirlooms, which would make the heirlooms even better. Also, there is the whole, well, I don't have this appearance, so I could grab it to, you know, get the uniqueness of those. But at the same time, considering that you have to farm Garrosh and Siege of Orgrimmar in normal or higher, yeah, let's just say unless I am killing him every day, I may not have that many by the time this event is over. In case you're curious, I believe the rate you get these is 1 or 2 on normal, 4 to 5 on heroic, and around 10 or so if you kill him on mythic. So that's basically, yeah. Oh, that's the only junk item I apparently had. Whatever. But yeah, this is basically all I really have left to actually focus on farming, but I'm just going to have my main character just try and get to some groups to try and kill Garrosh as much as I can before the event is over. So, if I don't... So, basically, if I don't get these, I can still just farm them in regular retail with my plate characters. It's not a big deal, honestly. But, yeah. Anyways. That's basically what I'm going to be focusing on now in Remix until it's over. I hope you guys have enjoyed these 2 playthroughs of Pandaria Remix on both the Horde and the Alliance. And I will see you guys next time.